Hello, everyone. So we are happy to be here again together tonight with our special guest of today, which is Anna Sinclair, and also with our dear Elsa Rossi participating to this spiritual light since how long, Elsa? 5 years, no, or more, huh?
Six, almost six.
6 years. Okay. So Stevan is finishing a meeting for his work, so he will be a little bit enter a little bit later, huh? So okay, we will start on time, huh? On the topic today, which is, as you have seen on the announcement, the power of thoughts, how we influence ourselves and others. Okay, so it is indeed a point on which the Spiritist body of knowledge has brought us a lot of light, huh? Because in the normal state we cannot see, we cannot hear, we cannot detect. Only everyone can detect its own thoughts. But in the spiritual world, it's not exactly like that. There is much more transparency in terms of thoughts. Huh? And it appears from the spiritist body of knowledge that the thoughts, they have a much stronger reality in the spiritual world. So this has been somehow told since a long time already, amongst others by Jesus during his stay here on our planet 2000 years ago. So we will come back to all these topics. But okay, let's introduce our special guest today, Anne. Hello, Anne. How are you?
I'm very
Welcome.
well, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne. Hello, Elsa. Everything okay?
Thanks God, everything is okay. And a special day today in London, 24 degrees. We are boiling, but very nice indeed. So I recommend take your clothes and go to the sun. Rejuvenate the soul. Okay, thank you.
Okay, a little bit of vitamin D, as we say. Huh?
Mm.
Okay, so without putting you to wait longer, I will make my first question to our special guest today, which is Anne. And the question is the following, Anne. Do our thoughts really affect our well-being?
Yeah. Thank you, Charles. Thank you for inviting me also, because when you invite me to take part in these activities, I am blessed because it makes me stop and think about the subject myself and think, what do I think about this subject? So it gives me time for reflection. And when I think about a subject, I'm thinking, where are my thoughts coming from? So we need to think that we are more just than our body, we are more just than matter. When we are in the material world, sometimes it's really hard to imagine that we are energy, because the material world the matter is very in front of our eyes, very present, very concrete. And sometimes we forget that we are energy, that we are thinking souls. And that's why when you were talking about the spiritual world, thoughts can be seen so much easier there. But when we're here in the world of matter, sometimes we kind of forget about it. And we are emitting thoughts all the time. We are like let's say, a mast emitting these radiations, which is our thoughts all the time. And if we are radiating these thoughts all the time, the first place the thoughts touch is our body, our cells, all the bits of our body. So we are immersed in our thoughts. So the first way, say, before thinking where are our thoughts going, they are still first, they are here with us, and they are permeating us. They are infiltrating us at all the levels of matter, our body, our cells, our connections. So for sure, they must affect our bodies. For sure, the radiation that comes from our thoughts affects our immediate environment. And furthermore, science nowadays already has quite a few bits of work and research around the effect of thoughts on our health in terms of becoming ill and also on getting better, both ways, because thoughts are thoughts. They can be one type, positive or negative, and they are affecting equally. So I just like to invite everybody to think about the fact that we are constantly irradiating, emanating thoughts, and that these thoughts are impregnating us to begin with. We might then want to go on a journey of thinking, what are we thinking? What is the quality of the thoughts that we emit? But that is a question for later on in the talk.
Thank you, Anne. Indeed, it's a very good remembrance. Where do our thoughts come from? Are they the product of the biochemical reaction in our brain? Some people are still, quite some people are still believing in this, but for sure, there is something more. And this is then leading us to the spiritualist paradigm, saying that the thoughts basically come not from the brain. The brain is just transmitting the thought. Like, for instance, a radio is transmitting the music. Of course, we have the electroencephalogram, all this modern apparatus showing how the currents are circulating in our brain whilst we are thinking or having some intellectual activities. But is this a cause or is this the effect? We can also in the radio see the electrons going on in the oscillating circuits and so on. But yet, the radio is just like an antenna. I don't remember the word you used, it was a different one.
Like a
An
mouse,
antenna
like
which is receiving and emitting permanently thoughts. And indeed, it's not electromagnetic radiations. Otherwise, we could measure them. We could capture them somehow with our material stuff, our material apparatus. The thoughts are of a more subtle nature. They are interacting with our brain, so that's sure. There is an interaction between the spirit and our physical body, but the thoughts are mostly irradiated through the so-called universal cosmic fluid, which is everywhere, even where we say it is void, or it's a vacuum, or there is nothing. Indeed, a lot of food for thoughts. So let's, based on this, you have said that our thoughts are influencing our own physical body, our health. The people which have a positive mindset are much more likely to, much stronger to face difficulties, even physical illnesses in the body, not only mental difficulties. The positive thoughts are giving us a much stronger coping towards the difficulties. So this is one thing. Now the second thing, a question for our dear Elsa. If we can influence ourselves through our thoughts, can we also influence others, and can others also influence us through our thoughts? How do our thoughts affect other people?
That's a good question, Charles, but this happens every day. We are immersed in a field that a lot of minds, thoughts come and go, energy up and down. We are in the middle of this turmoil. It's up to us regulate what we are doing, the power of our thoughts influencing others. Yes, we have a big God. Jesus said, you can do what I'm doing and much more. That means we have our energy, we can use our power of energy, and our negative thoughts is really terrible, can really hurt people. Hurt people at the point that someone can really go through a big headache, doesn't know what's going on, because the other person didn't filter as well what's going on around. When we have the power of prayer, meditate, as Dr. Spencer always said, we have the power of our thoughts to change ourselves, our ill selves. We can cure ourselves. If we can do this towards ourselves, we can do this towards others. And our negative thoughts really influence a lot and can make our ambient no good. And we have to say, I don't know what's going on, but this ambient is not something heavy here. What means heavy here? Is the energy that was the residual energies that was there without caring, as you have to clean your body with a shower, you have to clean your home every day, you have to clean your dress, you have to clean your soul. You have to be careful with our powerful thoughts. Yes, indeed. We can influence others and others can influence us. So when we understand, as when we read the book Joanna de Angelis, that the importance of our positive thoughts, we can change the world. The change in the world starts in me, in myself. But I am the person that will receive this bonus as a good health, good friends, a good social life, a good job, because everything is great when we can change things. Instead, blaming others, tercerize our problems, they always say, oh, I'm you, or I'm this and that, because someone did this, someone did that. I have to face my inner problems, my own problems, and say, no, what am I doing? Right. Later, wait a minute. We have the power to change myself, my family. We do our best. Of course, we are not a miracles person. We are not magicians. We have not the fairy light to change things. But we can think about and use it. If Jesus said that we can do, we can do. We have to believe that. But if I only say, no, I can do not, I have not power, and that I'm a pity of me, and like gossip against others and doing things, we are bringing toxins to our body. Of course, we become ill. Headaches, problems, stomachache, etc., because we are doing that towards us. So if you heal about myself, if I heal ourselves, we can heal the world. How long it takes to understand that and to work together, only God knows.
Thank you so much, Elsa. Indeed, it's very interesting and lead us to think about it, to make some reflections about it. If the thoughts are really influencing ourselves, and also we are influencing others and the others are influencing us, it remembers me one particular type of thought, which is the prayer, isn't it? When we pray for someone, if we can influence, we are sending good thoughts to someone. This helps the others, and it has even been put in evidence now by a lot of scientific studies in double-blind protocol whatsoever, showing that prayers and positive thoughts have indeed an effect on the person or the persons to which we direct our thoughts. And this is quite interesting now, because nowadays we are in the world in a quite, I would say, chaotic situation, isn't it? A lot of events these last years, the pandemics, and then these different wars in Ukraine, close to here to Europe, and now also in Middle East. So we, as you told us, we are feeling the ambient or the vibration of our planet a little bit heavy today. So the question is, question maybe to Anne Sinclair, what does the Spiritist body of knowledge say about this type of vibrations? And what shall we do, or what shall we avoid to do if we want to be positive and to bring a contribution to the betterment of this world vibration, let's say so?
I think that in first place, I'd like to say that the Spiritist body of knowledge, it brings a very optimistic and positive approach. So sometimes we can be involved in a negative atmosphere, which can be generated by others who want to create a climate of fear, of chaos, because when we are fearful, our vibration drops. So, number one that we need to think about is, what are our thoughts? To have a little bit of a daily exercise in paying attention to our own thoughts. What are we thinking? What kind of thoughts? And if the thoughts are not pleasing us, can we change them? One of the things that people suggest, and I adopt this in my own life, which has helped me, is, where is the focus? So when you're looking at, let's say the example is, there's a completely white wall. It's all white, all beautifully painted, with one dirty mark. Do you see the white wall, or do you see the dirty mark? So is your focus going on the negative, the dirty mark, or is your focus going on the big white, nicely painted wall? So we can be in any situation deciding where we're going to put our focus. For example, I had this many years ago when I decided to make a change in my life. I was in the traffic jam. I was late for work because of the traffic jam. So I was annoyed. So I'm hitting on the steering wheel. I'm gonna be late. This car is broken down, and now there's traffic and all this. I'm like this, and all the other drivers are very similar. Everybody, exasperated because somebody's car broke down. Now there's a traffic jam, and we're going to be late for work, and this is causing us to be annoyed. Okay. Can I do something about this? No. There's a traffic jam? Yes. I can change my focus. Okay, I'm in the traffic jam, but I can look at the flowers, the birds, think of something nice. Oh, tonight it'll be nice. I'm going to meet my daughter. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, I am still the same person in the same traffic jam, but I don't need to be connected to the annoyance that everybody else is in. I can choose to put my focus somewhere else. That's my choice. And then I'm not so suffering so much. Yes, I will be late like everybody else because we're in the traffic jam, but I will be in a better mood. I am putting my focus in a better place. So when we are living on earth, many bad things are happening. But the question is, where are you putting your focus? It's not to say that you ignore that bad things are happening, but you are choosing first to be okay yourself. Okay, so I'm okay myself. I look for the positive. I look for the good things. There is so much beauty in the world. Just look at nature, wherever nature is appearing, even in the concrete jungle, little flower in between the pavement, a little bird on the top of the apartment building, all kinds of little urban miracles. And then when I can start to have this mental control of, like, I make a choice of where I put my thoughts, I can also start to contribute to the rest of the world. And I say, okay, there is war, there is chaos, but I put out a thought of peace and love for everybody, for those who are attacking and for those who are defending, for those who are doing nothing. It doesn't matter. I make no judgment. It's just a world of peace and love for everybody. But if I don't have these thoughts for myself first, it's very difficult. It will just be coming from the mouth and boom, falling down, because what gives the energy to move it is the heart, is the emotion, the feelings. So that's why when Jesus says, love God above all things and your neighbor as yourself, the spiritual mentor Giorno De Angelis always suggests you start with yourself, start loving yourself, looking after yourself, being yourself in a good position. When you're okay, then you can help your neighbor. And when you can love your neighbor, you can consider loving God, because loving God is too far away if we can't even love ourselves. Well, we are God's creation. So she always suggests we start it the other way around. So I think that for me is helpful. So okay, I'm working on myself to find a better way of living, even in the middle of all the chaos, doing everything that everybody else does, but being mindful of where my thoughts go, my emotions go, where do I put them out, and then irradiating love and peace all the time for everybody. And then we can start to create a change. It's very interesting. There are so many people at this moment around the globe creating this wave of love and peace and transformation. People saying, like on the internet, on YouTube and all places, says, okay, I have no political power to go and change whatever some people are doing, but I have the power of my love, of my prayer, of my thoughts. And if we all do this, we will be more powerful than the bombs the people are throwing. I know it sounds a little bit hippie, but it is true that we need to practice it. There's no use just saying from the mouth. It needs to come from the emotion, from the heart. And we need to believe it, because if we're just saying it without believing, it's not happening.
Yeah, thank you so much. And indeed, I think we have to start with what is under our control, what is what we can do, and this is working on ourselves. Of course, you are absolutely right saying that self-esteem is absolutely necessary, and it's also a question of thought, isn't it? Self-esteem does also not need overestimate us. It does mean loving ourselves as we are, with still some imperfection. Thanks to the Spiritist body of knowledge, we have a kind of a goal, a direction where we can that we can follow, something which is sure, and which is totally in line with all these moral teachings that we got from Jesus and from so many other religious leaders that came here on earth. And this is, of course, helping us a lot, to accept what the imperfection we still have and to work on them in order to overcome, and to solve them and to give the example around us, with having positive thoughts even in the adversity. Hello, Silvia. Welcome. Very happy to have you with us today, even a little bit earlier than you
Yes,
announced,
today
but welcome.
I escaped. Yes, thank you. Thank you. It's
Okay,
a pleasure
Silvia.
to be here with you and share this moment. Hi, Jan.
Okay, so let's proceed, Silvia.
Charles,
A question for
let,
you now.
Charles, let me say something quickly here.
Yes,
For
please,
me,
Elsa.
for me, I'm so happy. I'm in heaven because today, here together, Anne Sinclair and Sylvia Gibbons, for me is something very special because both were members in the beginning of Allan Kardec study group that this year completes 43 years of its foundation, 43 years anniversary. And we will celebrate on the 18th of the day of Spiritism, 18th of April, with Dan Assisi, which is a lecture, Life After Life. And I invite you all that you want to come, please contact us. But for me, here is really a gift to have Anne and Sylvia, both from the Allan Kardec study group for the past, in the same life with me. Oh my God. Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you, Anne. And thank you, the benefactors.
Thank you.
Thank you, Elsa.
Yeah,
And
thank you,
and
Elsa. Yeah.
this is helping me for a transition to the next questions that will be for Sylvia. Allan Kardec study group, 43 years. I could not forget to think about the founder of the Allan Kardec study group, which is our dear Janet Duncan. And Janet is now in the spiritual realm, isn't it? Since beginning of this year, she went back to the spiritual world. So the question now is, okay, what happens with Janet? Of course, she needs time in order to get used to find back all the habits of this world and so on, as Stevan is also coming. Let me just finish the question, Stevan, to Silvia. So the question to Silvia is the following. We just thought about Janet Duncan. uh, maybe these thoughts we had now for her touched her in some way or influenced her or maybe even attract her amongst us right now. Huh? So the question is, if we have positive thinking, we will attract good spirits, isn't it? And on the opposite, if we have negative thinkings or bad thinkings or pessimistic thinking or whatever, we may also attract spirits which are, how to say, I think in UK you say birds of a feather flock together, isn't it? So
Yeah.
this law of affinity, law of attraction. Is it really a question of affinity of thoughts? This attraction of good or less good spirits, Silvia? And Stevan, I hand over to you for the next question, please.
Okay.
Hi, hi, Stephen. And it's interesting, just a point that Munir has come in as well. And, for a time, he was there with us, wasn't it, Anna? When we're learning about the Spiritism, um, when I joined and everything, I think I consider those one of the best years of my life. We used to spend the whole night talking about Spiritism, didn't we? And we used to go to Waltham so 3 times a week, and the rest of the time either on the phone or reading or studying, and learning about Spiritism was so incredible, so fascinating. Really one of the best years of my life. I have those years very, very fondly when I think back on that. And it was a life transformation for me, and I think for other people as well, to learn about Spiritism and how important it is for our lives, and what ground it gives to us and the compass of our lives, really. So going back to the question, I think this is a very important question, because a question of thoughts, because it's extremely important, because Emmanuel, I think in his book thought. He has a book about thought and mediumship and symphony. He talks about the power of thought, because thought is energy and is creative. So when we think about something, we create them. And this is very, very important. I think most times we don't understand the power that we have with our thoughts, because when we send a thought of love, of peace, of harmony to anyone, can be a person who's incarnate or a person in the spiritual world. And as you were saying, Charles, thinking about Janet, I mean, we think about her and her prayers. She feels it. She feels it. And if the person is incarnated, they also feel it. You have this sense of you think about the person, it comes like a kind of wave, it's just really warming and makes you feel so good. So when we think about someone, be they incarnated or discarnated, and we think of them with love, with peace, they receive it. They have that sense of well-being that comes over them. Whereas a negative thought, a thought of anger or hatred or anything that's negative, they will also feel it. You feel a sense of heaviness and everything. And sometimes, we talk about this theoretically, we read in books and we know and everything, but so every now and then something happens in our lives that we can actually confirm that what it is. And I was just thinking, a few weeks ago, when I had this horrible operation in my mouth with this tooth problem I had, and I was so scared, because I had had the operation, then I had had another operation because it didn't work properly, and I was so scared, and I asked everybody, pray for me, and honestly, I was so calm when I was sitting there in that chair, and I could feel the presence. I could feel almost like I was surrounded by this love, and then, this, and I felt really calm, and I said, oh, it's over. Oh, it is over. And I didn't feel any panic, and I really felt an incredible sense of peace, calm, and well-being. And a lot of, oh, I prayed for you, I prayed for you, and I know you did because I felt it. And I think sometimes things like this happen in our lives because we can confirm everything that we read. And when people are sending you thoughts of love, they do. And I think also one of the things that we needed to think about, how we think. I think, just thinking about Dr. Marlene's book, didn't we, Elsa, that we had the talk on Sunday, and she talks exactly about that we need to be very careful what we think, because what we think, when you go out and we are home, the people who think the way we do come to us, if we keep thinking negative thoughts or bad thoughts, immediately you start having very heavy, and you get angry and all sorts of things, because of course they will come to you, because of course spirits, that's how they communicate, isn't it? We communicate through our thoughts. And if we have negative thoughts, people who are angry, who are, doesn't necessarily mean to be obsessors or anything like that. It's just spirits who are feeling very upset, very angry, very vengeful. They will feel our thoughts, and they'll come to us, and they will surround us. So I think we need to be very, very careful. I think one of the things that Dr. Marlene actually quoted was, tell me what you think, and I tell you who you are with. I think this is very important for us to always try to think positive. And I think what Anna was saying at the beginning, you're stuck in a traffic. There is nothing you can do, and you can think something positive. And you don't need to, get involved with the thoughts, because whatever people think, we transmit our thoughts to others, and we receive thoughts from others. So if you are stuck somewhere, you're very young, worried that you're going to be late and everything, and you start getting angry, all the thoughts will come to you as well, and you'll be sending angry thoughts to other people. So you can break the spell and say, no, I'm going to think about something nice, peace, love, like the 60s, the hippies, peace and love. And we can change, because I think, like Anne as well mentioned, we cannot change other people, but we can change the environment around us, and we can send positive thoughts, loving thoughts, and they reach out, and other people will get it. So it's extremely important how we think, and how we place ourselves in relation to that, because you can receive it, and people can feel when you send good thoughts to them. That's how it feels.
Yeah, I
So
take quickly the opportunity to, as Ana mentioned, Joana de Angelis, Silvia mentioned Joana de Angelis. Joana de Angelis, I don't know if I correct what I'm saying, but she brought a new paradigm of understanding life, how to live, understanding ourselves, in the way that we can do more towards our own life, instead only tercerize, think that others, you can pay for someone to do this and that for you, even prayers, but we are the ones that can do so many things according to all these, I think 15 or 16 books of Joanna, no, Anna and Sylvia, that knows more than me. They are very important because it is a psychological way. It's totally related and correlated with the gospel, according to Spiritism, because Jesus is the psychologist as well. And the gospel, when we read the gospel with our mind, open mind, we know that if we follow the teachings, we are doing good things for our life. We suffer less, and sometimes that is suffer even when we have pains, illnesses, problems, but as Anna pointed, they sit in the car, in the middle of traffic jam, you can change your focus. You want window to another window that is two different panorama. We can do this every day in the minor things. We're going to take the bus from here to there, the traffic jam as well, that is this area, mine area here. Acne is very busy. So we can change ourselves and change the world, change with our energy that we started speaking about energy. And that is the energy that we can influence others can influence us. Joana de Angelis, who wants to read Joana de Angelis, there are some books in English, they are really brilliant. The psychology of life starts in the gospel, in the Joana de Angelis, there are many books, of course, many prophets, many people, but it starts in ourselves when we put in practice what we read, think, reflect, meditate, and put in practice for our own benefit. With self-benefit, we can do this. We can solve a lot of questions, a lot of problems. When we are the one, are a warrior, and go for it and face challenges, but with kindness, with calmness, in doing things better for the world, for the environment, for my neighborhood, for my people, for my life, my friends. We are the world. Okay? Did I say something different?
No, all good. So, sorry, my friends, I'm a little bit late. So, Anna, now it's my turn to say thank you. I'm very sorry I couldn't welcome you at the beginning, the call. So, yeah, it's good to be here, and this important topic. I I like to make a comparison when we talk about vibrations. Um, we are like a radio. If we want to listen rock and roll, we need to turn the dial into a station in which plays rock and roll. If we want to listen classic music, we need to tune in the dial to a classic music station. It is happened with us. If you're vibrating good energies, you need to tune yourself with the channel with good vibrations. If you are in a very bad thoughts, you don't need, you'll be tuned to that kind of environment. So that's why sometimes it's difficult for us to get rid of those bad thoughts, bad vibrations. But once we learn this, it is one way we can move away from those lower vibrations.
Can I
So,
say something?
yeah, sure,
Sorry.
of course.
Yeah, because you said that, and I was thinking that exactly about the radio. But this is also a very good tool because sometimes life can be complicated for us, and we might feel not very happy or find it really difficult to cheer ourselves up or to vibrate in love and peace because we're not really feeling it. And that is when the spirits say, like, know thyself. This is the key, because we need to recognize that sometimes we are not in the good space, and say, okay, I'm not okay. I try to think, be positive, look at this, look at that, but it's not working. What can I do? And one thing is music. So I can choose some music that raises my soul, whatever that music is, that change my mood. Put on some music, do something else. You're sitting there on the sofa, looking out the window, feeling sad. Okay, say, okay. In English, we say, shake it off. How am I going to shake it off? Let me put on some different music. It can be classical music, it can be the instrumental music, whatever is just going to help to change your energy, move around, change the scenery, go for a walk, do something physical, because we are in the physical world, that also is affecting our thoughts, because it's not just one direction, the influence of the spirit on the body, but the body and the environment is also affecting us in spirit. So we can do this, mix it up on purpose. Say, okay, let me try and change my vibe. Boom, boom. I'll put this music on, I'll do this, or I'll call my friend, I'll go for a walk, do something to, and that is because I have recognized I was not in a good place. Mentally, I couldn't move it. So I've done something physical that tries to then change it. And then before I know it, okay, now I'm back to kind of my more normal state of mind. It's okay. And for everybody, these things will be different. Don't raid the fridge. Not a good idea, okay? But do something positive. And I think music is a great tool. Of course, prayer. Some people do chanting. Some people do breathing, different types of breathing, yogic breathing, things like that. Whatever can help you on a physical level, then will help you also to change your thoughts and let go of the negativity that you're holding on to, because there is something in you that connects with that topic. It's not the bad luck, and it's not the fault of others. There is something in you, in your soul, in your makeup, that connects with that sadness or with those bad thoughts. It's not because we are bad, it's because we are the result of where we come from, our evolution. And we are, as Joanna would say, right at the beginning of our evolution. Sometimes we are imagining that we are very, very advanced. It's illusion. We're very
Yeah.
close to the animals. We're just moving on a little bit. So when we realize that, then we can say, okay, I'm not perfect yet. So what can I do to make things better at this moment, without any sort of fantasy of being somewhere where I'm not? I think that for me, somebody said it once to me, it helped me a lot. And sometimes if I like that, so I'm going for a walk in nature, just open the door, go out, 15-minute walk, take a breath of air, change it around, then you can change the channel you're tuning into in your radio of life.
Yeah, Anna, very good. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And while you were talking, allow me to ask you this, but for those who don't know, Anna used to translate one of the most important spiritist speakers, Divaldo Franco, for many years. She translated um, him here in Ireland, in the UK, probably other countries as well with this English speaker. And not once, not twice, before the speech, Anna, oh, I'm worried because the topic today is very difficult. I don't see what he gonna say. I don't know if I needed to do this. Let's see. I'm kind of, and then when he opens the mouth, looks like Anna and Divaldo was in a perfect synchronization, and as usual, she delivers a wonderful translation. Not saying, not me, I'm saying by Irish friends, non English speaker friends, saying to me, wow, that's wonderful. So that's the kind of tuning we are talking about here. So I don't know what you to do, but before the talk you are afraid of, but when Divaldo opens the mouth, looks like everything was changed. Can you review your secret, please?
Well, of course, there is a prayer, but it is, as you say, the influence of the good spirits, the spirits of light, on Divaldo, for him to be able to be inspired for his talk. They enveloped me in the same cloud, if you like. So
Yeah.
sometimes we are connected on the same cloud, and before he says something in Portuguese, I know already what he's going to say. And then when I'm saying the English, I can't, it's a work like a work of mediumship. It's not an intellectual work. Okay, I have the talents. I can speak both languages fluently. But sometimes I open my mouth to say one word and a different word is coming out. And I'm thinking, oh, that's a better word than what I was going to say, because we are under the influence of the spirits who are commanding this moment, because each of those words put out there, they are touching the people in the audience in different ways. So one word is touching one people, another word is touching somebody else, and so on and so on. So when we think about that, it's like almost like saying that atmosphere in that breath of those benefactors who wanted those messages to be delivered. But we are like that also in our daily life, is that we're not connecting so much, or our capacity to raise our thoughts is still not strong enough. Why? Because we are still very close to matter, and very sort of how can I say, unaccustomed to raising our thoughts. We're just accustomed to the daily life of survival. So when they say, the spirits say that we move out of, let's say, we move into the human development phase of development, and as we start to grow, initially we are like the animals. We're just instinct. We're just reacting. We're just surviving. But then we're moving on, and we start having higher feelings, like feelings of sentiments like love, altruism, and then we start to have increased light, if you like. And this is still perhaps for some of us a bit new, so we're not accustomed to be in that state all the time. But if you think a spirit like Jesus, just sorry I'm talking too much, but he comes and he lives amongst us. Can you imagine? He came down here, it's in the middle of the Roman Empire in Jerusalem, and all these people, everybody arguing, fighting, blah blah blah, all the political interests, and he transitions his life through this. Okay, this is, guys, chaos around. This is how you can live in the light, in the chaos, in the darkness. He gives the example, and even said, okay, then he is condemned and unjustly sentenced to death. And this is life on earth, yeah? There's injustice everywhere. But Jesus, they said, you don't allow that to affect you because you are an eternal being. So he shows us, gives us the example how being of light can transition through a life of chaos, very material, and not lose their focus. So when we look at Jesus, he is this teacher who came and said, look, I can do this, you can do this too. But it just takes us a little bit of practice to get there.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, my dear. Thank you. Thank you. I want to say good evening. So we have a very good audience today with us. And I want to say good evening to Rialia Rom, Ippolito Rebolo, Graziella Matuccelli, Cosmos Healing, Spirit Academy in Liminal Green Witchery, our friend Munir, Ruby DK1, let me see who more, Rodrigo Ordini. So thank you guys for being here with us and joining us online. So we only have 10 minutes. Of course, I do have more questions, but I want to finish one question. This question is for everyone, so we can go one by one with your answer. But the question is one. How can we create a healthier mental environment daily? Let's start with Charles. You're in the mute, Charles.
Good question indeed, Stevan. And we need to do it. Anna told about energy, about tuning, synchronizing, about affinity, about vibrations. And I like very much the book of Leon Denis, the problem of the being and of destiny. The fifth part, the title is The Power of Our Soul. Okay. So the materialists, of course, are completely losing this. They are absolutely unaware about this incredible power our soul has. And one of the biggest expression of this power of our soul is exactly this, the thoughts, emitting good thoughts. We know by tuning, having good thoughts, this creates a kind of a beneficial circle. We attract good spirits or people with good thoughts as well, which has an amplifying effect. And there are a lot of ways to reach this. Cultivating positive thoughts. Anna gave some examples, Elsa as well, Silvia as well. But for instance, gratitude, kindness, disinterestedness, empathy. There are so many positive thoughts that when we cultivate them, the more we give these thoughts to others, the more we receive them back. And the more we are entering in this beneficious circle, which has a huge amplifying effect, not only for ourselves, but also for all our surroundings. So we know also by the Spiritist body of knowledge that the thoughts, they have a reality. There are waves of the thoughts, not of electromagnetic field as normal waves, but they have this energy which is sent through the universal cosmic fluid and which is reaching the goals everywhere they go. So let's go and work positively, stay optimistic, keep these moral teachings of Jesus and all these who came founding all these religions around the world. Let's try to be, as Jesus told, pure in heart. So cultivating these good thoughts, let the hypocrisy aside, and this will make us much more stronger. And of course, there is also a very strong tool, which is prayer. Prayer is uh, intentionally exerting good thoughts, either speaking or even silent prayer. What is important is emitting the corresponding thoughts, and this has really a beneficial effect on the humanity as a whole. And this will, of course, improve a lot our mental environment daily. And even if we do it at home, it will also improve all this vibration, all this ambience into our home and at the benefit of our whole family. So what are we waiting for? Let's go for it.
Thank Charles. Thank you. My dear Silvia.
Yeah, I think one thing that Charles said, gratitude. I think for each one of us, it's we make what we want in a day. I personally, every morning, when I wake up, I just say thank you, God, that I'm looking, can see the light of the day, being allowed to wake up and see the world. And I'm grateful for this day, and I try to be positive, try to see the things in a positive way, because sometimes I tend to be a bit negative. So I thought, oh no, it's better, at least I'm doing this, I'm being achieving this. And I think to make the best of your day, and if you're positive, if you try to be positive, you touch other people as well. It's amazing how it can It's like laughing, isn't it? Everybody will laugh with you when you're laughing. But there is a quote I read it in one of the Spiritist books. I can't remember exactly, but I wrote down, and I used to have when I was working in the office, I used to have this stuck to in front of me, and was I will not allow anything to break my peace today. I will try to be good and to be positive, and no matter what happens, I will try to not to break the peace within me. And I always thought that was a good thing to think and to make the best of your day. And I think when you make the best of your day, if you try to look at things in a positive way, you touch other people as well. You help others to have the same feeling, and if they touch them, it's just this opening that they can go and reach their own sense of well-being. I think it's quite simple, just willing to do it. Pray as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
And being grateful for everything you have, even the difficult times. That's
especially.
it.
My dear Elsa,
Very nice. Everything is good to listen. But as we talk about prayer, science is also beginning to observe that prayer and meditation reduce stress, regulate emotions, and promote well-being. We should use this tool that we have easily. We don't have to pay for it. We can do a prayer within ourselves. We can change ourselves through prayer. Less toxins and more hormones of love and happiness. And I'd like to say thank you to all for being with us. Thank you especially today for Anne Sinclair and Silvia for these wonderful moments together. I hope in the future we can have more. Thank you so much.
thank you. And for you, my dear Anna,
Yeah,
what's your
so
secrets again?
I would just say, sorry, you said one, I'm going to say two. Is it okay?
Okay,
So
you're very
every,
kind.
everything that everybody said, 100% I agree. One thing I do resort to, which I find really helpful, is like sometimes if I find it difficult to pray or something because I'm not kind of in the mood, is to have a book. I personally use the Gospel according to Spiritism, but you might want to choose any book that has a higher content. And I just say, please help me open the book, and I just read a paragraph and just like immerse myself in that paragraph and say, okay. And then that just helps me to start changing my mindset to be able then perhaps to pray. But another practice that is I learned from um, my dance group, to be honest. I go to a dance class, but it's a different kind of dance. And we start every session, the group, for one moment, we just close our eyes, take 3 breaths, and set your intention. What do you want to achieve today from a spiritual point of view? So you say, for today, I set my intention to gratitude. I will look to be grateful for all things I encounter today, for example, whatever. Or today, I set my intention to forgiveness, and I will try to forgive as much as I can and notice opportunities for forgiveness. Or I can set my intention to today I will love myself and look after myself. Just for today, this is what I will focus on. So then there are so many things that we need to do. It gives us a chance to say, okay, my focus today will be this. This is what I need today. And like Silvia say, write it down. You can put it on your phone, on a post-it note, on a pop-up or something. Today, I am focusing on this subject. That is so helpful, It is so helpful because when we are caught up in, we forgot about all our good intentions by 9 o'clock in the morning, boom. Ah, yes, today I'm focusing on this. to help us create a habit that will help us to develop greater consciousness, more light, more love. Sometimes we have bad habits, and that's okay because they got us so far. But we want to create new, better, more healthier habits from a spiritual point of view. And by setting an intention and refocusing on that, that can help us as well. Sorry, I was talking too much.
Wonderful.
No, 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 no. It's wonderful listening. Yes, so we need to keep our thoughts in a very high vibrations, despite of the challenge we have on a day, like Silvia has in her cubicle. You know, nothing gonna take out my peace, even though I needed to put a gun
It's in my
to your
fridge
face.
now, actually. It's in my
What do you
fridge
want? You
now.
know?
And I have a quote from Vivaldo as well, from one of his talks that I still have written down in my fridge. So always looking at that as well. So there you
Share
are.
with you, Silvia.
What is the quote?
Um, he said for things that destroy your soul. It actually is from Joana de Angelis. Routine, anxiety, fear, they paralyze you. So I would say, no, I'm not going to do that. If I feel a bit afraid of anything, I try to look at something positive. So just to remind that, life is good, it's precious, and everything we have, is such a blessing. The date, for instance, was sunny, and you look at the trees, almost like everything is alive, isn't it? So it's such a fantastic sense of well-being and gratefulness that you can actually appreciate that.
Okay, okay, good. Okay, so I wanted to say thank you, Juan, for being here with us. The we are anytime you are free, anytime you don't have better things to do, we are here. Say, hey guys, I'm here. We can put you on, and you can jump in and help three of us here with your thoughts, your input. So it's very welcome.
Thank you.
Again, Silvia, thank you for joining us. Elsa, Charles, merci. Unfortunately, I cannot show the deck today because I had to open in a different laptop, and now I realize I don't have the deck here. I have the other one. My fault. Apologies. But next Wednesday, 9 p.m., we're gonna be here. Okay. Okay. So thank
Rubinho,
you.
né? Rubinho from Denmark.
Rubens from Denmark. We're gonna be with us. Yes.
No problem from Denmark.
Yes.
Okay?
Mm,
Okay. So
lovely.
thank you, my friends. I'll see you next week. Have a good
Thank you.
rest of the
God
day.
bless.
See
God
you.
bless.
And once again, thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
God bless.
God bless.